Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, but none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand beside and look? Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, but none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our great peoples while we stand beside and look? And we say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. African peoples, will you have to sing another songs of freedom? Is all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song, redemption song. Greetings, my African peoples, all of Africa. Greetings, 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 greetings. We are not here for peace, but we are here to clear things that will create problems to the bad ones who always want to see Africa backwards. You know, we believe Africa is going to be free, and we are making it to be free, and we are really trying our best to make Africa to be free. And today I'm here to talk about Nigeria. And you know, people start telling me, why are you not talking about Chad chasing France away? Why are you not talking about Senegal starting to chase France away day before yesterday? I'm aware of everything, you know, my brothers. Believe me when I tell you that there will be a time white peoples will begin to beg Africa not to go away. Yeah, today they will fight us and do everything. But you know, times are different and the table is now turning around. There was a time when Africa wanted to free themselves from white peoples, they used another Africans to destroy that plan. But this time around, they try and they fail, they try and they fail, and they will keep on failing till to the extent that the West will realize that no more, we cannot fool Africans anymore. We have to beg them, because to fight them will never make them to become our slave anymore. To fight them will never let them, you know, to leave us, to stay in their continent and steal their resources and manipulate them and create wars in their countries. They will realize this and they will start to beg Africa. They will know that the real thing is we need to beg them. That time will come. Either it will meet me alive or it will meet me dead, but that time will come. We see Nigerian president going to France, and whatever they discussed there was something that I knew of and was something that I was aware of for a very long time. When France is losing control over his colonial countries, and they try to find a country that have the biggest resources and that have the biggest amount of natural resources that they could lay their hands on and bring that country closer. And the only country that country is Nigeria. So I realized that France will be closer to Nigeria, because they were planning it since day one that the coup happened in Niger. So France was surprised, and they were like, we cannot get the Francophone countries, because the Francophone countries now realize what France have been doing to them and they want to stop it. So the Anglophone countries, they didn't know what France is capable of. And now they are the peoples that France is targeting. France is targeting Ghana. France is targeting Nigeria. The same France is targeting Gambia. I'm telling you this. So France is now realizing that the Francophone countries, his colonial countries in Africa, are now realizing the disasters that France have been causing them, the abomination that France have been committing in their lands. And they are now trying to kick out France one by one. And we are seeing that Nigeria, when people are running away from fire, the dead man of Nigeria is now dragging Nigeria into that fire. The fire that all African countries are running away from. We see the dead man of Nigeria now trying to collaborate with that fire, to consume Nigerians with that fire, because he don't care. A man who doesn't rule his generation and want to rule the young generation will always destroy the young generation to feed himself. And that's what was happening in Nigeria. In so many African countries, but today we will be particularly talking about Nigeria. We see Bola Tinubu in France. And what was the mission of Bola Tinubu in France? That's what I'm going to reveal to you here. Why do they invite Bola Tinubu into France? I will tell you. I tell you, tell Emmanuel Macron, I will destroy all his plans and nothing will work. And we will support Burkina, we will support Niger, we will support Senegal if truly what they are doing, they will continue to do it to chase France out of Senegal. We will be in support. We want the Senegal president to know that no fear. There is nothing to fear. They will be the one to beg Senegal, but Senegal will never go hunger to beg France or to beg the West. Any African president, you realize this, that when you go out from the West, you refuse to become a slave to the West have to beg you. You don't need to beg them Africans. That time is over. The time that leaders will think like if they go away from West, they will be the peoples who will be struggling and dying of hunger. No. The West will die of hunger. This is what I make the leaders of Africa to realize. To understand that what all is happening and what all they are saying, that if we don't help Africa, if we don't do this, Africa will not be this, we need to help Africa. No, they are not the one helping us. We are the one helping them. We are the one helping America to be America. We are the one helping England to be UK, to be England. We are the one helping Europe to be Europe. They are not the one helping us. We are the one helping them. But they pretend America is the one helping us. So just of Africa back in the days understand the strategy, because they pretend that they are helping while we are the one helping. But we didn't. What exists? And it's time to show them that we don't know if without you peoples we will not survive, or if without us you people will not survive. This is the time to know. Bola Tinubu, they invited, but Bola Tinubu didn't invite himself to France. They invited him because Bola Tinubu was their target, and that was the reason they rigged the election of Nigeria. Back in the days, I tell you people, I tell Nigerians that your election was rigged, not that Nigerians vote for Bola Tinubu, but Bola Tinubu was chosen by the peoples who control the African political systems, and those are the Western peoples. They control the African political systems. They decide who will become the leader of African countries, and this is what we want to cut off. No more to decide for us who will rule us. We need to decide by ourselves, and we need to give ourselves leaders. Not for the West to decide and give us a leader that they want, but not the leader that we want. And this is what has been going on for a very long time. They choose leaders for us that we don't want, but they choose leaders that they want. They choose leaders that will favor them, not the leaders that will favor Africa or Africans. And they invite Bola Tinubu. When they rig the election and make Bola Tinubu the president, the mission was to use Bola Tinubu against Sahel nation that were trying to liberate themselves from France. That was the mission. Number one mission. Why they employ Bola Tinubu as the Nigerian president. Why they push Bola Tinubu into power. Because there was a mission that Bola Tinubu should run it for them. Immediately they push Bola Tinubu into power, they now make Bola Tinubu the chairman of ECOWAS. Immediately. There are many leaders. Why don't they make those leaders the chairman of ECOWAS? But immediately they push Bola Tinubu into power and they choose Bola Tinubu as the chairman of ECOWAS. Why? I think people should ask themselves that question. Why? There are many leaders. They could make Akufo-Addo, the Ghana president, the chairman of ECOWAS.
They could make Cameroon president the chairman of ECOWAS. They could make Sierra Leone president the chairman of ECOWAS. They could make Kenyan president the chairman of ECOWAS. They could make Rwanda president the chairman of ECOWAS. But they abandoned all those peoples. Immediately pushing Bola Tinubu into power, within 4 months, they turned Bola Tinubu to the chairman of ECOWAS for a reason best known to them. They think we will not be aware of the things that they are doing. And I tell Africans, Bola Tinubu was pushed into power. Nigerians don't vote for Bola Tinubu. I tell you, look, after the election, how many Nigerians were against Bola Tinubu? After the election, do you think they will vote for Bola Tinubu? At the end of the day, they come and against him? No. They didn't vote for him. But he was pushed into power by the West, by the enemies of Africa, for a reason. To make sure that they will use Bola Tinubu and the militaries of ECOWAS to use them against their own brothers who want to free themselves from the colonial regime. And now France tried to invite Bola Tinubu because Nigeria, I will tell you again, it's not like we are supporting Nigeria. It's not like we are making Nigeria the biggest or they are the best of all Africa. But the truth must be told. What Nigeria produces in natural resources, there is no country in West Africa that produces it. Believe me, only oil that they remove from Nigeria, the oil that they get from Nigeria in a year, go and search it anywhere you like. The oil that they remove from Nigeria is more than what they are removing from any other African country. Only oil. We didn't get to gas. We will not talk about the gas of Nigeria. Nigeria have it. They have the gas. And that gas pipe, they wanted to connect it to Europe. But where will it pass? Because Niger, it will not pass Niger, through Niger. We will tell you, Nigerians, what your country is capable of and what your country contains, so that you will be ready to stand up and choose the right person for yourself. You need to fight, Nigerians. We have a whole heap of fight. We have a hard work, a lot of hard work to do to free Nigeria, not to sit and fold our hands. You see, the man you call Bola Tinubu your president is not your president. No, it's not your president. Bola Tinubu is not there for Nigerians and will never be there for Nigerians. This is the fact and this is the truth that we must say. Bola Tinubu will not be there for Nigerians and was never there for Nigerians. Was there to maintain and stabilize the stable of the West being in Africa and looting the resources of Africa. This is the main reason Bola Tinubu was employed as the president of Nigeria, because he was the best person that they see they could use against his own brothers and destroy the great peoples of Africa. France invite Bola Tinubu to make Bola Tinubu realize things. What will he realize if not money? The money that France gives to Bola Tinubu before returning to Nigeria, nobody will know it. Why? Bola Tinubu will never say, this is the amount that France have given me. But they have given him a huge amount of money. That is for his own pocket. To make sure that all the plans that they discuss with him, for Bola Tinubu to execute those plans and sell Nigeria to France. Yes, I tell you before, France is now trying to lay their hands on the Anglophone countries and make them their colonial countries, because they are losing a lot of countries that we call Francophone countries. It's only Ivory Coast. Their president, what is the name of the Ivory Coast president? I forget his name. Cote d'Ivoire president. Ouattara. Ouattara is a mess up. Ouattara is a slave, and he should be thrown down immediately. The militaries of Cote d'Ivoire, I was unable to communicate with any department of the military part in Cote d'Ivoire. Believe me, if I have the chance, I will, because I don't care. I don't care what they will think about me. I don't care what will happen next, but I do what I have to do. If I could lay my hand on any country militaries, I speak with them. And I encourage them to do the right thing. And that's the only thing we can do. We cannot force ourselves. We cannot remove president. We don't have the power. But the only thing we can do to encourage the militaries of that country to do the right thing. To encourage them, whatever support, even financial support, if we can give them, we give them. The little we have. That's what we do. And we will keep on doing it. Because if you check Cote d'Ivoire, they speak French. Number one, that was my very big dystopian part, that they speak French. Some of them speak Bambara, so I speak with some citizens in Cote d'Ivoire with Bambara, but not the militaries, because I couldn't lay my hand on any contact that I will be able to communicate with some militaries in Cote d'Ivoire. But truly speaking, coups will happen in Cote d'Ivoire. I tell you, coups will happen in Cote d'Ivoire. It will not be laid down like this. After when Bola Tinubu came to France, we will talk about Bola Tinubu. We didn't forget, because Nigeria, we need to tell you Nigerians what you should do, especially Nigerian soldiers. I will send a very heavy message to Nigerian soldiers and Nigerian police. Nigerian servicemen, you need to learn from your mistakes. Don't be there in a uniform just because you want to be in a uniform. Don't be there in a uniform just because you want people to see you in a uniform. You were in a uniform for a reason, and that reason must be fulfilled. Because as far as you take an oath and swear to God, you are going to protect the life and the properties of the citizens, then that's your capability. And it's your job to make sure that those things are safe. The properties and the citizens are safe and protected and sound. Not by standing behind one man who is destroying more than 200 million peoples. And you still believe that man is doing good. But you are seeing your peoples, more than 200 million peoples are crying. Nigeria. And still, we have peoples who will say that Bola Tinubu is doing well. Where? Which part of Nigeria is feeling the work of Bola Tinubu, the good work of Bola Tinubu? Can any side of Nigeria come out and say we are feeling the goodness of Bola Tinubu? There is no side in Nigeria. There is no region in Nigeria that will come out and say we are feeling the goodness of Bola Tinubu. And now what Bola Tinubu is planning to do is, your oil, your gold, your gas is to transfer it to France. It will be transferred to France. There will be no doubt about that. As far as Bola Tinubu is still the president of Nigeria, he have already signed what he have to sign. And now France have to find a sources of income or sources of survival. And their only sources of survival and income is now to face Nigeria. Because Nigeria have the biggest oil that they will lay their hand on. As far as Bola Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, they will lay their hand on it. There's no doubt about it, and nobody can stop it, because your president Bola Tinubu, the dead man, have already signed it. I wonder why, when you check Bola Tinubu, when you watch that video of Bola Tinubu in France, don't you feel ashamed of yourself as a black man? That kind of person is a leader, is a president. Will you ever imagine that that kind of person who is walking down there, when you watch the video of Bola Tinubu in France, you watch that video, you will feel ashamed of yourself as an African to say that this man walking there, this dead man walking there, is a president of one African country. And is a president of the biggest African country. The biggest African country that hold to the population of 200 million peoples, more than that. This dead man is the one ruling it. A man who cannot even walk properly. A man who cannot even speak properly. A man who cannot even stand properly. I wonder why Nigeria is only dead peoples that rule Nigeria. I have never seen a young person, a young youth, ruling Nigeria. I have always known Nigeria as choosing the wrong peoples as to put them in the right position. Wrong peoples are in the right position. It became a biggest shame after watching Bola Tinubu. If you just take the structure, before Bola Tinubu came, we have a dead man there. Muhammad Buhari was another dead man that cannot speak. They remove Bola Tinubu, I think, like a youth man is coming into power. Nigeria will do their best to make sure that the youth man come into power. But I realize that it's not their fault. Because all African countries, our political system is not being controlled by us. Except now, Mali, Burkina, and Niger, their political system is controlled by them. They do what they like. The citizens decide what will happen. and the government decide what they will do for their peoples, not someone out there or the enemies of Africa have to decide what the government should do for their peoples. So they decide what they will do for their peoples, and they work for their peoples. Look at Ibrahim Traoré. Take an example from Ibrahim Traoré. The hard work he is doing. If he is being commanded by the West, he will not be doing this hard work he is doing. Because the West never want to see any leader in Africa that will be working like Ibrahim Traoré. The moment you are working for your peoples is paining the West. West feel like there should be no leader in Africa that should be favoring his peoples and be there for his peoples. But their own ministers are there for them, are there for their citizens, working for their citizens. But they don't want to see any African leader who will be there working for Africans or defending Africans. Nigeria should wake up. Your soldiers tell them, I say, if they don't make coup, it's a big shame on Nigerian soldiers. Yes, there should be a coup. Believe me. Nigeria, your military leader, tell your military general that I said, if he didn't make any coup, then he is a big shame to the entire Africa. It's a big shame. This thing should not be like, oh no, you should not plan for coup, you should not pray for coup. Coup is the only way for Africa to survive. If you believe it or you don't believe it, or you see it as a crime, or you see it as, that is not a good way to choose a leader. No, my brother, you are making a very big, because by choosing a leader with vote in Africa will never give you a good leader. It's only by making a coup in Africa can give you a good leader and can give you a better country. But by voting, because that voting you are doing is just to intimidate you, but your votes are not count. If your vote can choose a better leader for you, then by right now, all African leaders will be having a good leader. But can't you see that we are still voting and voting and voting and voting, but we are not still getting the right peoples? And even though we are voting for the right peoples, they are not coming into power. Why? Can't you see that the system of that voting is not being controlled by you or me, but controlled by our enemies? And they decide the fate of our vote. Even when we vote for the right person will not go into power. Even if majority vote for the right person will not be in power. We will end up seeing a wrong person being in power. What is causing that? That is showing you that your votes are not count. So to vote for a leader is not a way to choose a right leader in any African country. Somebody said, and Gambia as well. The same thing happened in Gambia. The whole country, majority of the country peoples vote for what they want, who they want, but they didn't see that person in power. They end up seeing a devil in power still in Gambia. Because Gambian political system also is not controlled by Gambians, but controlled by the enemies of Africa. And they decide who will still continue. They decide that the devil will still rule Gambia. The devil that will accept them and abandon his own peoples. The devil that will be with them and abandon his own peoples and obey them. When they did this to Gambia, it was a very sad thing to see that the whole Gambia is still against one man. But when we vote, still our votes are not count. I think we need to learn about this voting, and we need to be careful. And we need to realize that voting can never give us the right peoples. I have not seen any right leader in Africa that was put into power by vote. Count them. Count them. Kwame Nkrumah was not into power by vote. Count them. Thomas Sankara was not into power by vote. Ibrahim Traoré today was not into power by vote. Asimu Keita was not into power by vote. Abdurrahman Tijan in Niger was not into power by vote. Can't you see that your great leaders are not into power by vote? Yaya Jammeh, the Gambian former president, was not into power by vote. And these are all great peoples, but they were not into power by vote. Can't you see that by choosing a great leader for Africa is not by voting, but is by making a coup? That is the only way for Africa to move forward. It's by making a coup in Africa. Coup is the only way to survive. And coup is the only way forward to see the Africa develop. But not by voting. If we depend on voting, we will never see any good leader. I will tell you. Today, Chad is chasing France away. Senegal started chasing France away. Senegal have already declared, they have already given their statement that France should go away. Chad have been chasing France away. It doesn't start today. Maybe some people see it today. They started sending me messages. My brother talk about Chad chasing France away. Do you realize that in 2013, Chad have kidnapped France militaries who go into Chad to spy? 6 France militaries. Chad militaries have kidnapped them, have already arrested them and put them in prison for France to give up. Because those 6 militaries of France were arrested in Chad while spying in Chad. They were sent to Chad as a spy. And Chad militaries have arrested them in 2013. Since that time, Chad was fighting France to move out. But France was still insisting, sending their militaries in secret. The world is keeping quiet about it. Let me tell you one thing, Africans, we need to realize. One thing is, the whole world will be seeing that France is creating problems in Africa because they want to rule that country. They will be creating terrorisms. The whole world will know this is the handwork of France. But nobody will talk. Because you know why? France is doing it to Africa. France will never do this to Italy. France will never do this to Germany. France will never do this to Austria. France will never do this to Sweden. If France tried to do it to white man country, it will be a disaster. But as far as France is doing it to Africa, they will not talk. Because Africa, they all see it like Africans are our enemies. So any country that can destroy Africa is good. They will be supporting that country. Today, the whole Europe is supporting what France is doing. They will pretend that they are not in support of France. Yes, when they come out in public to confuse you Africans. They will be pretending. I saw many European prime ministers who are saying that, you know, we are not in support of what France is doing. I think France is should now realize this and that and that and that. All is bloody lie. They are all in support of France because they are the people sponsoring France. Even when France is bankrupt, after when these 3 countries go away from France, France was bankrupt. Who supplied France? European Union was there to give France the maximum support to be able to lay their hands on many African countries and destroy them. Yes, this is the truth that have been hiding. But today, many people will think like, oh, European Union is against what France is doing to Africa. They are all together. I will tell you that. European Union is in support of what France is doing today to Africa. They will never speak. But if France do it to Belgium, European Union will put sanctions on France. If France do it to Italy, European Union will put sanctions on France. But as far as France is doing it to Africa, European Union is very happy about this. And they are giving France, when France was bankrupt here, European Union was the one giving France a financial support, economic support, all kind of support, even weapon support. The weapon that they will send to Africa to give it to the terrorists to keep on terrorizing Africa. Nobody will talk about it. I know me, they will not like me. That is not a problem for me. I know they will hate me to the maximum level. Yes. And you know, one thing you need to understand. Whenever I started talking about their cigarettes, they will lay their hand on my page. I know it will not be a problem for me if you like ban my TikTok account. I will open another one. I said it before. Either they like it or they don't like it, they will see my face and they will hear me. Either they like it or not. And I must speak by force. I will not keep quiet. Even they keep on banning all my accounts, I will keep on opening another ones to still continue. Today what France is doing in Africa should not be done. The whole world. What America is doing to African countries should not be done. Yeah, we may feel like America is innocent. America is not doing nothing to Africa. But they are causing a lot. The almighty America. The almighty America is now afraid. The almighty Europe is now, they are now afraid. The almighty England, they are now afraid. Because realizing that Africans are now no more agreeing to our words. Africans are no more seeing us as their friends. And that's what they were afraid of since day one. That was the revolution that was revealed to them. That one day, Africans will go against you and they will no more listen to what you say. Yes, because you will keep on fooling them and keep on fooling Africans. There will be a day that Africans will realize who they are and will realize what they contain. And they will no more agree to your foolish words anymore. You will no more be able to fool them anymore. And that's the time that is coming. And we are in the beginning of that time. That Africans are no more listening to them anymore. Africans are no more hearing what they are saying. The only things Africans are now saying, we want to be free. Yes, we no more want to be controlled by you peoples. And that's what is happening right now. And they are afraid of this. And they have prepared themselves for this. Do you think they don't prepare for it? All the killing and all the terrorism that is happening in this place, in Niger, in Burkina, in Mali. Why do America and France join together to cause those terrorism there? Why? Why do America and France and European Union are joining together to make sure that these three countries that are trying to remove themselves from slavery, they are trying to destroy those countries? And at the end of the day, they will come out to blame the leaders in that countries. I don't know if you Africans are realizing it. They create so many terrorist groups in those countries today. In Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger. And they are now blaming the leaders. They are saying that Ibrahim Traoré is killing many people. He's a dictator. They are saying that Assimi Goïta is causing death in Mali because many citizens are dying. But Assimi Goïta is not the one using weapons to kill his own peoples, to unalive his own peoples. Who is unaliving Assimi Goïta peoples? Who is unaliving peoples in Burkina? Who is unaliving peoples in Niger? The terrorists, right? We all know are the terrorists. Where do the terrorists get support from? And who create those terrorist groups? America and France and EU. It must be clear. To make Congo to focus on war, how to save their lives, and not to focus how to free their country. That is Congo. They create so many terrorist groups in Congo, sending drones with weapons to Congo. We will say it, I swear. If you like, arrest me. Do I care? But the truth must be told. We will no more be sleeping, my brothers. To make Congo to focus on war and how to save themselves, because a man who is safe is that man who think about freedom. But if you are not safe, how can you think about freedom? Before you think about freedom, think about your safety first. Save your life. And that's what they do to Congo. To make Congo not to focus on this liberation thing, to free themselves, what do? They create so many wars in Congo. They send their soldiers to Congo. European Union soldiers are in Congo. They refuse to go. And they are with weapons. And European Union is sending drones with weapons to give to terrorists in Congo to keep on terrorizing. And those drones, when they will come back, those drones will come back with the resources. They will put resources in those drones to send them back to Europe. This is what European Union is doing, right? We have still biggest companies in Germany that are manufacturing dados, Maggi. The resources are from Congo. Germany, still we have those companies in Germany, companies that are run by the resources from Congo. Still we have the companies. Since the day of Berlin conference happened to today, still those companies are working. And they are working due to the resources that they are stealing from Congo. If you don't believe me, if you are in Germany, you know what I'm talking about. Search for it. Research, do your research, and you will find the companies that are still working. And they are working because they are getting the resources from Congo. In Germany, it's still happening. And European Union is busy sending drones and creating terrorist group in Congo to make sure that Congo citizens will focus on how to save themselves, but not to focus on the country, how to save their country or how to choose a good leader for themselves, how to free themselves. They are all running away from Congo. That is caused by European Union to make sure that Congo citizens run away and they will be able to steal in peace. Congolese will be running away from for their safety, and these peoples will be there busy stealing the resources. They have been doing this for how long? For how long Congo have no peace? For how long children of Congo are dying of hunger? Are dying because they have no water. They are sleeping in the bush. For how long? For how long, my brothers? Who do you see complaining what is happening in Congo? Who do you see? You don't see nobody complaining about Congo. They make us to feel like, no, there is nothing happening in Congo. But there is a lot happening in Congo. There is a war happening in Congo. Congo have no peace. Since Europe stepped their foot, European Union sent their militaries to Congo. Congo have no peace. How many children are dying in Congo? How many mothers are dying in Congo? The slaughtering that is happening in Congo, unaliving children, unaliving mothers in Congo. Who is talking about it? Nobody. Nobody. Before the war between Ukraine and Russia will happen, there was this thing going on in Congo, but nobody talk about it. The so-called human right that is now fighting for Ukraine and Russia, that is now saying that Ukraine and Russia war should stop because they are violating human right. That so-called World Human Rights Organization, where were they when European Union is murdering unaliving peoples in Congo? When the same European Union collaborate with France to make sure that Cameroon will never have peace. The western part of Cameroon have no peace. Since the day European Union and France collaborate together to give them a peaceful life in Cameroon, in southern part of Cameroon. I am telling you the real stories. Go ask people who are living in Cameroon. Ask people who are from Cameroon. It doesn't start today, and have been condemning it. I've been saying it for a very long time. Congo, it doesn't start today. For how long it has been going on? But who is still talking about it? Nobody. Who is pointing the real criminals? Nobody. Nobody is pointing them out. Who point them? Who point finger on European Union? They are sitting like they are not doing nothing. But they are the real criminals, the real thieves, the real devils. That's why I tell you there are just few people who control this planet. They decide what will happen, they decide what will not happen. Few peoples, just few. And these few peoples are very powerful. They control the world. The world is not controlled by the leaders. Do you think the world is controlled by the presidents? No. There are few peoples, few organizations, few peoples who build organizations for themselves and they control the world. And everybody, even if you are a president in your country, you will feel afraid to mention these few peoples because you know what they will do to you. But me as an ordinary person, they will not do nothing to me. I will say it out. There are many people today who will speak for Africa. They will avoid paths, not to go to prison or not to be their target, not to be the target of the enemy. They will avoid to point the enemies out. They will avoid to point the real criminals out because they feel like pointing the real criminals out, now you become the target. You become their target. And they will go after you. They will not relax until they see that you are down. That's what they did to many people. And that's what they make many people to feel afraid to point them as the real criminals. Today, who is pointing European Union? Who is pointing them? Do you ever see anybody pointing European Union as the real criminals that is causing war in Cameroon, that is causing war in Congo? Do you ever see anybody pointing finger on them? Nobody. You see people complaining about Africa and trying to tell you what are the problems of Africa, but they will never point out EU because they are afraid they will become the target of EU. Because EU is good at assassinating the great peoples of Africa. They are very good at it. EU and America, they are very good at assassinating. EU, America, France. Who murdered Muhammad Gaddafi? Is it not the same peoples that I'm telling you now? Is it not the same peoples who collaborate together to murder Muhammad Gaddafi? To make it easier for Muhammad Gaddafi to go away. These are peoples who are very good at assassinating the great leaders of Africa, the great peoples of Africa. But nobody feel fit to point them out, because you pointing them out, now you become their target. The moment they realize you are pointing them as the real criminals, the moment they realize you are pointing them and you are making Africans to see them as the real criminals, and they know you are telling the truth about them, my brother, you become their target no matter what you do, either you like it or not. And one thing is, if you really want to die, die with the full truth. Don't die by hiding some truth because you are afraid. A coward will die too early. If you become a coward, you die too early. The moment you feel afraid to say the truth because you feel like I may die, you will die early. Yes, that truth you refuse to say. And that truth you are hiding because you are afraid to die. You are afraid to become a target of the enemy. That same enemy will unalive you. But the moment you bring out the truth without fear, the enemy also fear you, because they feel like there is something behind you having the fit to point them as the real criminals, to point them as the real people who are unaliving peoples in your continent. They feel afraid because they feel like there is something also behind you. Something is making you to do this. You are not doing it ordinary. So they don't come after you directly. That's why when you see my fellow Africans fighting me, I don't blame most of them. They have been confused by the enemies of Africa to turn them against me today. So that's why I'm never worried. Many white peoples will turn my fellow black peoples against me, and it will not worry me, because that's the work of the devil. I know it will come and I know it will happen, so it is not a bothering thing for me, and I will never think about it. But the only thing is for me to keep on moving and keep on fighting for my peoples, not to relax. Because the moment they turn my peoples against me and I become the enemies of my peoples, and I also turn against my peoples, then it will now become zero. All the work I have been doing will become zero. And I never want that to happen. That's why the moment they turn my peoples against me, the few of my peoples against me, I will keep on loving them till they change their mind and see the biggest heart that I have for them, so that they will realize who is our enemy. Our enemies should not put us together and they will be sitting and laughing. No, we should not allow it. We should be one and realize our enemy and join together, our energies together, and fight our enemy. That will be the only way to salvation for Africans. But today we see EU. The meeting that Bola Tinubu do with France, do you know that EU chairman was there? But he was never brought out to camera. Never. Do you ever see it? Who will tell me that you have seen the EU chairman inside France in camera? He was never brought out to camera. We are living in Europe. We know what we are saying. When they invited Bola Tinubu to France, Bola Tinubu was not invited by only France. Bola Tinubu was invited to France, but was not invited by only France. Was invited by the even EU chairman. And EU chairman was also there in France when Bola Tinubu came there. But you will not see EU chairman on camera, because it will become a disaster. The world will realize now who is pushing France. So they have to hide their face. And now people are seeing France as the biggest problem, but the biggest problem is EU chairman. Because he is the one sponsoring France. They are the one sponsoring France economically. Financially, they are the people sponsoring France. If not, France was bankrupt when they said go away from France. France was not even having a full light energy. France was changing light like African country. Today they will give to this side. Tomorrow they will give to this side, and this other side will not have. France was changing electricity like this. Why are they still having instant electricity, you know? Correct electricity? Because of EU. EU put their mouth. And when they called Bola Tinubu, inviting Bola Tinubu was not by France president, was not an idea of France president, was an idea of EU chairman to invite Bola Tinubu, to make sure that they will lay their hand on the resources of Nigeria. Because let me tell you, go and do your research. Nigeria is the only country that produces the biggest amount of oil every year. In 2023, Nigeria was the biggest, was the first. Believe me, in oil, when we came to oil producing, Global market, go to the global market. Nigerian oil is the best and is the first. And the money it produces, there is no African country that produces it. Do your research. Do your own research and you will realize what I am telling you. Believe me, if you do your own research, you will realize what I am telling you. It's not easy, my brothers and sisters. But we must say the truth. So EU inviting Bola Tinubu, they didn't want to invite Bola Tinubu directly for people to say that, EU invite Bola Tinubu to European Union. They didn't want people to see it like that. So they have to use France to invite Bola Tinubu to France. And EU chairman was there, but he was never brought to camera because that was their decision. Nobody should see European Union chairman on camera because it will become a disaster. The world will now see that who is pushing France, who is sponsoring France, why France is still insisting and having power to go into many African countries and destroy. EU chairman is there. It's the cause of everything. You may not believe, most of my fellow Africans may not know what I am saying, but the white peoples know what I am saying. Not all white peoples, the white peoples who are in power. If they listen to me, they will know what I am saying about their EU. Even the white prime ministers know what I am saying. Don't be bothered. They know what I am saying. You may not know as an African. You may be confused or you may think like, no, Pandi is lying. No, how can that be possible? How do Pandi know about that? Don't be worried. Yes, when you are concerned about Africa, you will do your research and you will go to any length to lay your hand on anything to say the truth out. Right, I'm telling you. Now, we see it like Bola Tinubu was invited by France president. Now everybody is pointing finger at France president, but the lead criminal is hiding, right? This is what they do. They always hide. And the peoples who we see on pictures are not the peoples who are causing it. Yes, because we see Bola Tinubu with France president. So we see France president in picture, right? Of course, France president is not a good person. And what all he wants is to destroy Africa, but he is powerless. But he is now having power to go into many countries in Africa to trying to lay their hands on their resources or on their countries. Why France is getting that energy? Who is giving that energy to France? That's what you should ask yourself, because France was collapsed. When Mali, Burkina and Niger go away from France, France was collapsed economically, physically. Naturally France was collapsed. France was not working. There was nothing called France. This is the fact. Even France was afraid at that moment that it was a very big disaster for them. If it continues, my brother, it will be a very big disaster. I'm telling you, there was a very big disaster that started in France. The whole France, the almighty France, lose light energy. They couldn't give light energy to the whole country at once. They have to give it to east today. Tomorrow they give it to west. Next tomorrow they give it to north. Another tomorrow they give it to south. And this was a very big disaster because uranium was not coming. The uranium that was giving them light energy was from Niger. When Niger military coup leader Abdurrahman Tijan go into power, what did he say? He said he was searching, and while we realized that France was buying 1 kilo of uranium from Niger with just I think 80 cents or 90 cents. 1 kilo of uranium was sent to France. Niger was giving France uranium free, because that's what I can say, because 1 kilo was sent to France when there was this Bazoum. When there was Bazoum in Niger as the president, when Bazoum was the Niger president, Bazoum was giving out the uranium of Niger for free to France, because 1 kilo was 90 cents, I think 90 cents, 80 cents or 90 cents. It doesn't even, they don't even buy it to 1 kilo, 1 euro. 80 cents or 90 cents. And when Abdurrahman Tijan came into power, he said, look, we are not going to be arguing over this. This is my resources, and I will sell you to the price that I want. If you want, buy it. If you don't want, don't buy it. Very good. Somebody said 80 cents. It was 80 cents. No, it was not 50 cents. 50 cents was too small. It was 80 cents, right? It was 80 cents. So when Abdurrahman Tijan go into power after making a coup, he told France that my uranium is my uranium, it's my resources. and I'm going to sell you the price that I want. Now 1 kilo is going to be 200 euro. That make France to collapse. They were surprised. From 80 cents to 200 euro, 1 kilo. From 80 cents to 200 euro, 1 kilo of uranium. That baffled France. Yes, after Abdurrahman Tijan tell them that now I'm no more going to sell my resources to you with that price. It's my resources and I sell it to a price that I like. Because Abdurrahman Tijan realized that this uranium is the only source of France's light energy. And when I tell them any price, they will pay. Because of course they will not get it from anywhere. It's only here. And they will buy it with any price that I tell them. If they don't buy it, they will stay without energy. When France argued, at that time they were having that argument with Abdurrahman Tijan. When they were having that argument with Abdurrahman Tijan, that was the time France lost light energy. They were not having full light energy in their country. The light energy was too small. They didn't know that that day will come, the day that Africa will stood up and keep their resources to themselves and started to control their resources by themselves. They didn't know that that day will come. If they knew, if France knew that day will come, then France will store many resources from Niger, many uranium from there. They will have a lot of uranium in their country. They will not be bothered. But they didn't know. They were taking it small. They didn't know that this day will come. So it was a big disaster for them and a big surprise that all of a sudden Niger cut off everything. No gas pipe will pass through Niger anymore. They banned the gas pipe from Nigeria, because Nigeria should be the one supplying the entire Europe with gas. Nobody will tell you this. Yes, even you Nigerians, there are a lot of millions of Nigerians who don't know that your gas should be the gas that should be supplying the entire Europe right now. But the pipe, still the pipe couldn't cross Niger. They were digging it as underground to dig and make a pipe from Nigeria to be stealing the gas of Nigeria, to be supplying the entire Europe with gas for free. Yes. If what Nigeria have, the gas that Nigeria have today, if Europe have it, will European peoples be allowing Africans to dig underground and bring pipe of gas from Europe to Africa for Europe to supply Africa for gas for free? Will they do it? They will not. But all because when we don't have great leaders, when we have fools as leaders, are like Bola Tinubu, he is allowing Europeans to drag your own gas to their continent and supply themselves free, and you are happy with it. They will tell you, you are a great man. No, you are doing well. You are a very generous person. Yes. But what you are doing for them, by them calling you a generous person, they will never be that generous to you. Never. In their entire life. Europe will never be generous to Africa to the extent they will give Africa gas free. The fuel that Europeans are using today are all from Africa. In the global market, whose fuel is there? Well, if you go to the global market, it's African fuel. Go to the global market, it's African oil. But there are people who own it who are not Africans. If you go to the global market today, the oil there today are owned by Americans. The global market, the world global market today, the oil there is owned by Americans. Do America have oil? Where are they getting the oil from? From Africa. But if you go to the global market, Americans are in control of our own oil. They decide. They are the owner of it in the global market. The fuel in the global market, they are the owner of it. The gas in the global market, they are the owner of it. That oil is what is bringing dollar up. If not, dollar is nothing. Dollar is just a paper. Hey, Nigerians, let me tell you, your oil is the one that is building American dollar up and giving American dollar a power. If not, American dollar will not be powerful than your Naira. I'm the one who tell you. Go and do your research. If your oil is cut off, and African oil is cut off from America, then I will tell you American dollar will be like Naira. Will not have power. but they use our resources to build up their economy and build up their currencies to be powerful than our currencies. We who own the resources, our currencies are full currencies, are just papers. If not, my brother, think about it. If not, your country currency, what is your country currency? 1 euro is how much in your country currency? $1 is how much in your country currency? And you are the owner of the resources of this planet. But your currency is not valuable. Why? Because your currency is not built by your resources. And they are using your resources to build up their currency. That's why their currency is more stronger than yours. And they didn't allow you Africans to be like them, to have one currency, because they know if that happens, it will become a disaster. This is what Mohammed Gaddafi planned. When Mohammed Gaddafi, that caused Mohammed Gaddafi dead. That caused them to unalive Mohammed Gaddafi. When Mohammed Gaddafi says Africa must have one currency and the currency will be built by gold, because they know Mohammed Gaddafi have the power to build a currency in Africa that will be built by gold. A currency that will be produced and manufactured by gold. This was the plan of Mohammed Gaddafi before they unalive him. Mohammed Gaddafi says, Africa, let's have one president. Every president stay in your country as prime minister. This was the project of Mohammed Gaddafi, and this is why they unalive Mohammed Gaddafi. Listen, you will not understand. They will unalive all your great peoples who are there to support and help and build up your continent. It's a big pity. I'm sorry, Africa. But I think we need to wake up. We should not let this time we fail. When we fail, it will be a big disaster, because we will never be able to make any revolution beginning like this. This is the biggest sign of Africa, that Africa is going to liberate themselves no matter how hard it is. We should not give up, because the moment we give up, when this one collapses, we will not be able to wake up another flag of revolution again, or liberation in Africa again. Yes, believe me. This is the only time 3 countries immediately stood up and against the West, and they give their hands to each other. And we will have more countries to come. Now Senegal is joining. Now we counted like 4 countries. So can't you see the revolution is now going forward, not backward? Because we are still having countries that wanted to join this Sahel nation to build up and make this revolution happen. So when it falls down, when they use us to unalive our great peoples by ourselves, or fight against our own great peoples, we will regret it. We will regret it. Let us not allow what happened to repeat itself, to use us to unalive Kwame Nkrumah, to use us to unalive Thomas Sankara, to use us to unalive Jomo Kenyatta, to use us to unalive Martin Luther King, to use us to unalive our great people. Let us not allow it to happen. It should be the first and last. It should not happen this time. This is why when I saw, you can see it by yourself that Africans have already waken up. When people say, no, Africans will never wake up, I doubt it, because you don't know. If you think about Africa before and think about Africa now, you will realize that Africans have already waken up. Yes. You all realize that there was a money given to Burkina militaries to make Burkina unstable and create war in Burkina, so that Ibrahim Traoré will go down. You all know how much money was given to those militaries to unstabilize Burkina, right? What do? They said no. They gathered the money. They didn't say anything. They allowed the enemy to give them the money, and they gathered the money and give it to their leader, to their president. They tell their president that this money was given to us to unstabilize this country so that you will go down. You can see that the country is now liberating. My Biafran people, I'm coming. Just give me a time. Stay with me. Be patient. I'm coming. You know, I go by rule. I go by topic to topic. My Biafran people, do you think I forget about you people? I didn't forget. Oh. No, I didn't forget. So be there. Keep on watching. We are coming. Yes. Do you think I forget about Biafra? No, I didn't forget about Biafra. I saw many of my Biafran peoples telling me, my brother, you forget about us. So no, I don't forget. No, we don't forget. We just have a lot of things to do, but we don't forget. You know, Senegal president also now says, France, go out. We realize it now. Day before yesterday, they make their declaration, telling France to go out. We no more need you. Just go out. You understand? So that is a good sign. So that's why I tell you that when people say Africa will not be liberated or Africans are not waking up, I doubt it. Africa now is different. Million times different from Africa before. Africa before is easy to use us against ourselves. If this was Kwame Nkrumah time, Jomo Kenyatta time, Sankara time, then Ibrahim Traoré will not be alive. Yes, Assimi Goïta will not be alive. Abdurrahman Tijan will not be alive. Do you know that? If this is the time. Do you remember Jomo the Tanzanian president? You are great. His own peoples were used against him to poison him and kill him. God. To unalive don't the man fully. I think you all understand. Young peoples. Africans, you need to understand one thing. I may not be rich. I may not be a rich man. I may not be the greatest among all Africans. I may not be the biggest of all Africans. There are people who are even watching me today. They are bigger than me, educated than me. Wait, guys, please. Let me settle here. If not, my life will cut off, please, guys. Okay. Okay. There are people who watch me from Africa. You Africans, most of you are educated than me. You have more experience than me. You are more powerful than me. Your mouth is sweeter than my mouth. And you are more intelligent than me. Most of you people watching me here. I will tell you, for you to understand, I am not intelligent than no one. And I am not powerful than no one. There are many people watching me here. They are more educated than me. I have been to school, of course, yes. But I didn't finish school. No. I realized it for a very long time that African school is a scam. There are my schoolmates all over media. They know me. Ask them about me. I was very intelligent. But I stopped school by myself. Yes, after realizing that this is a scam. That's why you cannot see me speaking proper English. No, if you see me, I don't speak proper English, my brother. Don't blame me. It's not my language. So I'm proud I cannot speak a proper English, but I can speak proper Mandinka. Yes. If I cannot speak proper Mandinka, that will be a big shame on me, my own language, that I cannot speak it properly. But as far as I can speak a proper Mandinka, any other foreign language, if I cannot speak it properly, I am proud of myself still. And that's what every African out there should be proud of. Be proud that your own language, there is no white man who can speak your own language also properly. If you cannot speak their language properly, and people laugh at you, be proud of yourself, because there is no white man out there who can speak your mother tongue properly. Yes, there is no white man out there who can speak your mother tongue more than you. So you will know, no matter how you go to school, you cannot speak English more than there are more people who own the language. So be proud of yourself. Yes. And I'm very proud that I cannot speak English properly. Yes. But I can speak my mother tongue properly. Yes. This is why sometimes when I am speaking English, you see me, I started speaking pidgin, the Nigerian pidgin, because I love the pidgin more than even the English. Yes. The pidgin, the Nigerian pidgin, I never go to school, I understand that one. Yes, Mandinka, I don't go to school, I understand it. Yes. If you go to Bambarang, I don't go to school, I learn Bambarang. I understand Bambarang. So you should understand that me going to school still, I can, how many years? I spent 11 years in school and still, and I was not somebody in school who cannot learn. My schoolmates swear, if you are with one of my schoolmates, they will tell you that this boy was very intelligent in school. Even my teachers, they know it. I was very smart. But with all that smartness and spend 11 years in school, I cannot speak proper English. Do you know that there's something behind that language? They never prepare that language. How many of you Africans graduate in Africa with English certificate and they go and further their education in Canada or America or UK? When they get there, that's the time their brain is stopped. They will realize by themselves that they are not learning anything in Africa. When you go and further your education in America or Canada as English language, you get there. When they speak to you, you cannot even know what they are saying, and they are English to you. So what you are learning in Africa was prepared to speak the English language properly. Ask yourself that question. You will understand. You will understand that the language they give you was not given to you because they want you to speak French language very well. No. Because they give you English because they want you to speak English very well. Then if they give you English and they want you to speak English very well, why the English you are learning in Africa is different from the English they are learning in America? The English book you have in your school in Africa is different from the English books in UK. The English book you are learning in Africa is different from the English book in Canada. The French book you are learning French in Africa is different from the French books in France schools. And you see the differences? And you say they are the one who give you. They want you to understand their language. But when they take their children to school to understand their language, what they give them, that's not what they give you. It's a big difference. So what is the reason they make differences? Because what they give you was prepared to make yourself go against yourself. To make you to become self-enemy to yourself. To make you to hate yourself, underrate yourself, and see them as the superior. Because what they describe themselves in those books as the greatest peoples. They describe you who is reading that book, they describe you in that book as a fool. And you will always remain that fool. You understand how they cage Africans? This is why we will be working hard. When people say, no, Africans, it's very hard to liberate Africa. It will be hard. Because as our peoples have been taught in schools how to hate themselves. So, and still we have teachers who are teaching our children how to hate themselves, and we are still trying to free them. You think it will be easy to free Africa? It will not be easy because still people are busy. Still we are busy here fighting to free that Africa. Still teachers are busy teaching children this nonsense in Africa. Do you know? So how do you think it will be easy for us to free Africa? Because we are trying to free those who can understand what we are saying. And teachers are in Africa trying to prepare another children who are growing up to grow them up with with slave mentality, with self-hatred mentality, with self-destruction mentality. Teachers are still busy teaching another children with that language, with this same thing. Us today, we are trying to free ourselves from it. Still, Africans are busy teaching their children the same thing. They are not learning. No. They are not realizing that this is what we are fighting to remove out from our continent, because it is destroying us. But they are still teaching the young ones. How do you expect those young ones to grow? We are now. We are fighting now to free ourselves. We believe that the young ones will learn from us. The young ones are not learning from us. They are learning still the same thing that we learn. And how do you expect them to grow up and realize who is their enemy or what they are doing to them? How do you expect them to grow with that mentality? I was in school for a good 11 years. My brother, one time I realized that this school is a scam. How do I realize school is a scam? Gambians, Gambian and I was in a primary school and I do secondary school in this place in St. George's. I think many people who are from say will understand what I'm saying. The school that I'm saying, in St. George's. I was in St. George's, from grade 7 to grade 11. I was in school. I will tell you my story. I was in school and I realized the subjects. How many subjects are we learning? 16 subjects. Yes, 16 subjects. I asked myself, how can someone understand all these 16 subjects together? Who created this for us? I do my research, find out that this is not how the people who brought this education system to us, this is not how they are learning. This is not how they are teaching their children in school with 16 subjects. Their children, if they want to become a bank manager, they go and learn mathematics. From grade 1, see they graduate, they will be learning only mathematics. They will not mix it with anything. If they want to become a doctor, they learn only science. They focus on science. Before they will reach to 15 years, they have already captured everything in science. They become perfect in science. So why? For us, we have to be busy on 16 subjects. How can you know? In science, you will not know nothing. In mathematics, you will know 0. In English, you will know 0. Biography, you will know 0. History, you will know 0. SES, social and environmental study, you will know 0. IT, information technology, you will know 0. All other subjects. How can you become educated, my brothers? How can your education benefit you? We took books and sit and started reading books. Our doctors, do they ever do practicals? SES, social and environmental study, those who learn science, those who learn history, do they do practicals? No. That's why there is no student in Africa that will be able to create something. Because we only read it in book and we forget it. Yes. When you are grade 11, what you learn in grade 10 is no more in your head. Why? Because it's too much. You cannot capture it. You are not dependent on one thing. You want to take all together. 16 subjects, you want to take it all together. You will lose all. This is what they did to us, so that we will not understand anything. So that we will lose all. Because the moment you want to carry all, you will lose all. But the moment you focus on one thing, you will make it, my brother. No matter how long it takes, you will understand something in that one thing that you have been doing for how many years. The same thing you have been repeating the same thing. You will understand it. No matter how long it takes. But we want to carry it all, 16 subjects together. Then you will lose all. You will not understand anything in science. You will not understand anything in mathematics. You will not understand anything in SES. You will not understand anything in arts and craft, history, biology, zoology. You will not understand nothing, my brother. When I was in school, I asked myself, who brought this education system to us? I was doing IT, information and technology, when I take a course. I was doing IT, information and technology, computer, and arts and craft. I was very good in computer. I was very good in arts. I was very good in mathematics, But it can't be possible. No matter how you are intelligent, you can't take all of them together. You will lose everything. Then I started asking myself, who created this? Who? Then I go to the history. When history subject, I check the history subject of Gambia. What do I find? All the history was about white peoples, how great they are. There's nothing about Kunta Kinte. The only thing they told us about Kunta Kinte is a Gambian. Kunta Kinte is this. That's what we know. But they didn't tell us that Kunta Kinte was kidnapped by our enemies. They didn't tell us who our enemy is, what they did to Kunta Kinte in Gambian history subject. I said, this is a fake. Why don't they tell us everything about Kunta Kinte? And when I sit with the oldest peoples, the great-grandfathers of Gambia, they told me Kunta Kinte. They told me the story. And those stories, I don't find them in history. But about one white man in history, you find everything. Go to environment, SES, social and environmental study. It's a subject in Gambia, in Gambian English school. They call it SES, social and environmental study. I see, when you open that book, the SES textbook, you find out that all the environment there are European environments, American environments, UK environments. There's no environments belonging to Africa. The only thing they will show you about Africa is map. And in the map, they make you Africans little. Yes, in SES. In the map of SES, Africa, you have nothing. You people are poor, you have only trees. You are living in the jungle, you have no beautiful houses in the map. In SES, Social and Environmental Study, open the book, how they describe Africa in a picture, in an SES book, Social and Environmental Study. You people don't have any good houses. You have these houses that was built with grass, you know. You cover them with grass. That is the only thing. But when you see Europe, in that they have Europe in that picture. They have European environment in those pictures. They were very clean environments, beautiful buildings, you know. That's what we learn in school. That's why we think like Europe is heaven. Because we learn it in school, that we are not living in any place. We are living in a dirty place. Europeans are living in the best place. They are living in heaven. Because that's what they show us in the book, in Social and Environmental Study. I checked the English. I will tell you. This is what dropped me out from school. And from there, I don't care about school. I see school as scam. My children will never go to school. For what reason? To do what? In African school. To do what? To become to hate themselves? To go and learn how to hate themselves and hate their brothers? My children will never do it. Never. Never, never, ever. I go to English. I see the English book. What is written there? Esa this, Mohammed this, Esa was in this and this, Asa was in this and this, English this and this and this. We all learn this, right? They will take you as a fool. If you take the English book, you check it. You become fool. What do you understand when you are reading in an English book from your school? Do you see anything that will benefit you by reading English? Do you see anything in English textbook that will bring a good impact in your life after reading that book or after becoming a professor of that English book? Do you see anything in it that will bring good impact in your life or that will make you to create things? There is nothing in it. Let's go to science. What do they do in Africa? In our school, when we are going to learn science, they go and dig a dead man from grave and take his bone and bring it to our school. People know the school I'm talking about in Gambia. It was there in our time. The dead man bones were in the coffin. They say we are learning science. Learning science in that way, I will never become a perfect doctor. I swear. You can never become a perfect doctor. That's why we don't even have doctors in Africa. Do we have doctors in Africa? Ask yourself. How do you expect them to become doctors? They didn't learn anything about becoming a doctor. How do you expect a doctor to save you in Africa? This is why we are not safe. When you fall sick, you go to hospital, they can't do nothing. The only thing they will know how to do is to give you injection or medicine. They draw 1, 1, 1, 1. Take 2 in the morning, take 2 in the afternoon, take 2 in the evening. That's what our doctors know. Apart from that, what do they know? It's a pity. Because what they learn doesn't show them how to even create their own medicine. By right, doctors should be there to create medicines for themselves, for their peoples. Doctors. By right, doctors should be creating medicine for themselves. For the country. If you really learn, your school are teaching your children how to be real books about doctors. If they are really doing the real practicals, how to create medicines, how to create things, by right, your doctors should be creating medicine for Africa. African doctors should be created. Africans should not be ordering medicine from China, from India. But all your medicines are from India. Why? Why your doctors who you believe that they go to school, they graduated, they have certificate, they cannot create any medicine for Africa? How many doctors do we have in Africa? None of them can create any medicine for us. They will tell you, if you started seeing that you are coughing, yes, it means that you have bacteria, you have fever. If you see that, your nose is dropping water, it means you have fever. That's all our doctors. That's what all our doctors know. Apart from that, what do they know? They cannot create chemical. They cannot create antidote. But the peoples who give us those science book to teach our children to become doctors, what they are learning, what they are teaching their children to become doctors is different. A 10-year-old boy in Europe here who is learning to become a doctor is now trying to create his own antidote by himself. They are teaching them to create antidote, to create medicines, to create chemicals, to even create bombs. Do you know? It's a science student that create bomb. Yes, doctors, scientists. They are the people who create all these bombs. Scientists. But in Africa, how many scientists? Can you people tell me one, please, if you know? There's no one. No one. Let us learn. If I tell you African school is a scam, believe me. It's not like I don't want children to learn. No, no, no. I want them to learn something that will bring good impact in their life, that they will be able to create things. Somebody say, why lie? I work in Austria and study in Uganda. My brother, what do you work in Austria? Australia. Can you tell me? You study in Uganda and you are now working in Australia. Which work are you doing in Australia? Please, I will want to know. A doctor. Okay. So you don't further your education in anywhere, no? You don't study in Australia, no? You just come, they employ you. You came with your Uganda certificate, they employ you. No, answer me, my brother. You just came with your certificate from Uganda and they employ you. You didn't study, right? No, tell the truth. If you have to be truthful to yourself, tell us we are arrested. I didn't study in Australia. So you just came with your Uganda certificate and they employ you. Is that what you are telling me? My brother, you know, you and me, that can never happen. You and me know that is a bloody lie. You can never come with your African certificate and come here, they employ you directly. You and me know that if you say that, you will talk lie, my brother. You are older than me. Stop lying. Children are here. People who are watching here, you are very older than them. Let us tell each other the truth and try to accept the truth, my brother. Why are you defending them? You know that before they employ you, you go and study. They are not stupid. You will learn their language before they will employ you. Number one. You have to make sure, they have to make sure that the certificate you came with, you are properly studied with it. They have to properly know that this certificate you brought was not something that you don't learn. They will take you back and go and study. Number one, they will tell you that our language, you must study it. Number one, you know it, my brother. Stop faking yourself. Let us not stop doing these things, my brother. If you are working as a doctor in Australia, it's not a problem. But try to tell people also how you get it. Don't try to fake it like you came from Uganda directly. They employ you with Ugandan certificate. That have never happened and it will never happen. My brother, that have never happened and it will never happen. Tell your people the truth. Stop faking yourself. Do you think Australians are fools? You came from Uganda, you cannot speak Australian language, and you just came with your Ugandan certificate. They employ you as a doctor. Doctor, they didn't joke with their health part. No, white people don't joke with their health part. If they will employ any black man, they will make sure that you study in their country. By force, you must take practicals in their country. It can never happen, and it have never happened, and it will never happen, my brother. My brother. I don't know, doctor, who, what. Please, tell your fellow brothers the truth. Stop blindfolding them. You and me know that you can never take your certificate from African country. With your African certificate, you just came to Europe here, they just employ you. Without learning their language, without taking you to school to learn their language. My brother, who are you? Even if you are a president's son of Uganda, that will never happen. Even your presidents, when they came here, what they did to them, you don't know. My brother, if you are in Australia, you have the opportunity and you go to school and they teach you and now you are a doctor, thank God. Maybe even that doctoring you are doing, you are just there to give them plate. They will tell you, give me scissors, you give them scissors. Give me plate, you give them plate. Give me water, you give them water. Now you are telling us you are a doctor. We know you black people, you start to fool us in media here that you are doing doctors, you start to wear uniforms. Why you are in hospital? Some people are just in hospital to clean, but they will pretend to us that they are doctors. People just there to be serving them with things. Give me scissors, you give them scissors. You know, give me this, you give them this. You know, you started taking pictures with those doctors' uniform to fool your own fellow black people so that we will see you as a great doctor. God, you can fool people who are watching me, but I will tell you who you are, my brother. You and me know what I am telling is the truth. You know it. You are sitting in your house right now. You are trying to argue with me on comment section, somebody with your heart. You know what I'm telling you, my brother. It's been an area. Fool me. I'm not somebody who you can in the comment section. Most of the people say exactly are migrants. I am not the biggest, the best female doctor in America, black man from Ghana. I'm not doing that. But the thing is, my brother, you are learning. They take you to school. In Australia, you go and learn their language. Don't tell me you just came to Australia, they employ you with your Ugandan certificate. That's what I am arguing with you. I am not doubting the fact that most of the doctors in Europe are black people, are migrants. Of course. How many black people are being doctors? I've been saying that for a very long time. The best female doctor in America is American, is a Ghanaian. It's a black, yeah? So we are out to do things, you know? Nobody is doubting that because we are too intelligent. When they take us to their doctor class and we learn how to become doctors, when they teach us well, we become more perfect than even their own perfect doctors because we are smart. But that doesn't mean that you will come with your Ugandan certificate. That a doctor, you represented Australia. Australians, I'm a doctor from Africa. This is what I learned. This is my certificate, and they employ you directly. My brother, who are you? How are you able to speak the language? How are you able to speak the language? Were you not in school to learn the language? Number one. And how do they employ you, my brother? I study in England, in Uganda. So which language should I learn? Languages again? My brother, you study in England, or you don't study in England, or you know what I'm saying. When you go to Australia, you before you go in the hospital as a or as an assistant. You are not even a doctor. You know what I am saying. You are not why are you all fools from Africa just trying to manipulate people when we are trying to clear people's minds? You are trying to blind them again. Why? A full-grown man like you. Don't make me tired, my friend. Talk the truth. Ask the topic and move on to another topic. Don't try to be a fool, man, my friend. Some of you people, you are grown up, but your brain is too low. Try to open your brains and help your brothers to understand what is going on. Don't try to manipulate them by trying to put yourself up. Yeah, you are a doctor. Yeah, you are a doctor. You are fooling your own brothers, manipulating your own brothers. Tell them the fact, my brother. Come on. You people are very slave to white people and you started to manipulate your own brothers. I hate this. Come on. Don't try to manipulate us here, pussy with one topic while we all know the truth. Why are you trying to do this? Why? You are older than all of us here. We here. Be mature, my friend. Stop this. When we are trying to open people's minds, help us. But don't become a distraction by manipulating people's. Why are you manipulating your brothers? Now, tomorrow your brother from Uganda can carry his certificate and come to Australia and say, I want to become a doctor. While because of what he heard from you on media, you will manipulate your own brothers to become slaves in Australia. Why? Tell them the right procedure, what you do. If you become even a president in Europe, we don't care, but tell people the right procedure. So that whenever someone also want to do, your fellow brothers want to do it, they will know what you tell them. Follow the right procedure. But stop manipulating people. You know, UK, I land in Uganda. Come on. Do you think Australia is there to employ black peoples? I don't say you are the first, my brother, and you can never be the first, and you will not be the last to become a black doctor in Europe. My brother, macho, open your brain. Oh, shit. This kind of people, I don't know why. Why? They will try to find an argument, you must argue with them. Why? Why? I came to Europe, if somebody asks me, I will not say, no, I just came to Europe and I have today, I just came to Europe and I have it. I will tell you the procedure. Whatever I have today, how I get it. I will not just tell you that I just came to Europe with my certificate, or I just came to Europe, I get what I get. No, I will tell you the procedure. There are procedures. When I came to Europe. So whatever I have today, I do things to achieve them. So what are those things? There are things that I pass through to achieve whatever I achieve today in Europe. So whenever one of my brother want to come and ask me, how do you get these things? I will not tell the brother, no, I just came to Europe and I get it. Because the brother may think if he also came, he will just achieve it without passing through any procedure, while there are procedures. But the moment one of you become a cleaner in the hospital, you started to post the pictures in TikTok, started to go to the medicine lab and take pictures and post it on TikTok.